Hello there, I'm Jason Butler and thanks for joining me on another edition of my self-build series. Now, where we got to with the site is we've got it all completely cleared of the old barn and the old garage, and we're about 2.5–3 weeks away from the ground workers coming in to do all the foundations and lay the services. And that's what I want to talk to you about in this episode, the services. Okay, let's talk about water supply. Now, in order to get your water connected, you have to apply to the water company that's in your local area. And in order to be connected, they may have to close off the road, or at least put traffic calming measures in place, which means they have to apply to the local authority to get an appropriate permit. Now, they won't do that unless they are absolutely comfortable that the supply they're going to connect with meets their regulations. And there's two types of supply. Either you've got the water ducting all the way connected from your property to the point where they're going to put the main in, or a temporary builder supply like this one, which basically means that they can then connect this supply and they'll then start the order. Now, the reason why that's important is that the water company is going to take them about 2 months to get that permit in order to be able to close the road to connect our supply. So we had to put the temporary building supply in to prove that we had an acceptable connection for them to connect with, because we're not going to have the house ready till the end of September, beginning of October. But that's now underway, and we're due to have that done on the 23rd of August, which is in between when my ground workers are here doing all the foundations and when the home builders are turning up to put the timber frame house on site in September. So let's now talk about electricity. Now, the electric supply is coming off of a pole which is embedded inside a tree and holly and all sorts of stuff. It's been overtaken. The electric company require you to dig your own trench if they're not doing the work, from 1 metre from the pole to the house. So in our case, we're going to be coming across the driveway here and all the way down the side to the back of the house. So when you want the supply, you ask the electric company to come out and do a survey, which they've done. They work out how many meters of cabling and ducting you're going to need. And then when you accept the quote, they do two things. They provide the ducting for you to put into your own trench if you're digging the trench, which we are. But also they will schedule any work that's necessary to do tree pruning. Now, at the top of that pole, it's full of leaves, branches, ivy and holly. So before they can actually connect the supply, they're going to need to organise a gang to come and clear all that vegetation, and they're going to have to turn the electric off to do that. So again, there are two things that need to be done. You need to get your order in good time, so they drop the ducting off in time for your groundwork, so you can actually bury that and put that in the ground. And secondly, they've got to schedule the work. So we've got plenty of time. We've got a good 8 to 12 weeks before we're going to need supply turned on. So that can now be going. So I've paid for that, and they'll be dropping the ducting off next week. So we're all in good time for the groundwork, and they're going to get a gang to come and take all the vegetation away in time. And the good news also, it means I haven't got to worry about clearing all this side of the driveway, because they're going to do it for me, because it's all around the pole. So that then brings us on to the issue of the telecoms. And as you'll see, the telecoms pole is just there, and the telecoms company will come along and do a survey, which in fact they're doing tomorrow, and they will be responsible for channeling to a trench to our property. And we will then drop the ducting for the fibre optics into our trench along here and all the way down the side of the services trench to the back of the house. We need the ducting in place, obviously, at the same time we're doing the groundwork. And then when it comes to actually connecting up, we give them a shout when the house is ready, and they will then pull through the fibre optics and connect the pole to the house. And then hopefully we've got all our services. But there's one other thing which I need to tell you about before you go. Now, on the site of that rough ground there is where we're going to be putting 2 car parking bays, and we're also going to be putting in electric charging points, because obviously that's the future. But what we need to remember to do when we're doing the groundworks is run the appropriate cable from the charging points across trench here to pick up my main services trench here to go to the back of the house and the consumer unit there. So what we need to do is we need to have found the company that's going to supply the charging points, make an order with them, and they will then drop off the appropriate cable that we need so that we're all ready to go, and we can drop that in the services trench as well. So there we go. Water, electric, telecom, car charging. They are the services. See you next time.